The game has already begun. Allow me to make you an offer. One you can't refuse.
Hey Trailblazers, Calum here with another video. Let's chat about the new characters coming in patch 2.1, Acheron and Aventurine. As with all these pull or skip videos, if you really like a character's visual design or personality, just pull. Don't second guess yourself. There are no bad limited banner characters. For me personally, I care more about how a character plays, and that's what this video is about. We are evaluating Acheron and Aventurine based on their gameplay. Let's first go over their gimmicks, the things that make them different from other characters. Acheron is a lightning nihility damage dealer. She deals direct damage, so she scales off of crit rate and crit damage. She has a very high damage ultimate that needs to be charged up to use, and it doesn't rely on energy. Instead, she charges her ult when she uses her skill, and when her allies apply debuffs to the enemy. A nice thing about her ult is that it's AoE, but you can also choose targets to deal extra single target damage to. Imagine you can tell Lightning Lord exactly what targets to hit. That's really powerful. Her flexible ult makes her good for both MOC and pure fiction. Given that Acheron is an important character in the recent story, and that she had received a lot of extra marketing, it's highly likely that Hoyoverse gave her big ass damage multipliers and lots of self buffs. She has downsides, of course. Being Nihility and not a dot character means she doesn't have many good light cone choices. Her best light cone by far is her signature cone, followed by a high, superimposed Good Night Sleep Well. Because her ult needs to be charged by debuffs, you want to run her with two other Nihility characters. That could be an annoying requirement depending on your roster. Let's move on to Aventurine. He is an imaginary preservation character. His gimmick is that he's a shielder who can also do a decent amount of damage. His follow-up attack charges when your team gets hit and when an ally uses a follow-up attack. Once charged, he launches a multi-hit follow-up attack that will also give your team a shield. His ult charges his attack as well. Because his follow-up attack grants a shield, you can keep your team shielded without having to use his skill. Aventurine gives your team a bunch of shields while remaining SP positive. Your guys will not be dying with him on the team. A nice bonus is that Aventurine is very helpful for breaking imaginary weakness enemies. But he also has a few problems. Aventurine only has a passive effect resistance buff to protect your team from disables. I've seen my 70% CC resist Luocha get hit too many times to know that resistance alone is not reliable enough. I would not bring Aventurine to CC heavy fights. Another downside to Aventurine is that his damage dealing capabilities rely a lot on a good setup. You need team-wide buffs from Runmei and Topaz for bigger impact, and you also need follow-up units to charge his attack faster. I want my sustain units to be easily swapped between teams, and I don't like how Aventurine loses his damage potential when he's not on a follow-up attack team. Now that we have a basic understanding of how Acheron and Aventurine play, let's see if they are worth pulling for. Acheron is a lightning element hypercarry. If you need somebody to deal huge damage, she's the girl for you. She's good in both MOC and pure fiction, so her usage will be high. The biggest thing is that she will only get stronger in the future when new debuffers get introduced. Imagine a sustainer who can also debuff, then you can run 3 debuffers on a team to support her. However, Acheron doesn't add too much new gameplay outside of her team building requirements, which you can argue is also a negative. Her big backloaded ult is similar to Argenti and JY's damage profile, and you also have both JY and Kafka competing in the lightning AoE space. If you already have a well-invested JY and Kafka, I really think Acheron is a luxury pick, and that's why I don't plan to pull for her. At least for now. I have no doubt she'll do more damage than my JY, but she does not add enough new gameplay for me. Aventurine passes the minimum bar for what a limited banner sustainer should do, and that's keep your team alive without too much sweat. He might even be the best at doing that since his shields are big and get refreshed frequently. If you don't have a limited banner sustainer, he's worth pulling for. He can also deal significant damage in the right team. If you're not having trouble surviving, then the appeal of big shields goes away. For example, my characters are well built enough that Bailu is enough to keep them alive. My primary concern for my sustainer is that they allow my carries to do damage undisrupted, and Aventurine is not reliable enough for that. And lastly, his damage also starts trending downwards if you don't have the right setup. Because of these reasons, I'm planning to skip Aventurine as well. If you're not committed to a follow-up attack team comp, Fushuan and Huohuo on their rerun may be better options for you. So there we go, my current plan is to skip both Acheron and Aventurine. If I were a spender, I'd probably pull Acheron because I predict she'll be at the top of the damage charts. If I had Topaz, Aventurine would be a more enticing option as well. Like I said at the start of the video, there are no bad limited characters, so if you like someone, just go for it. Alright, that's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.